Hello, Megamaniacs, and welcome back to Homebrew Review, where this week we are looking at Space Duel, a homebrew Atari 7800 game from, you guessed it, Bob DeCrescenzo. He is the wizard of programming games for Atari 7800. And guess what? Like some of his previous titles, this one too is an arcade conversion to home consoles. It is considered a direct successor to the Asteroids lineage, and in fact, historically, replaced Asteroids Deluxe cabinets when they did not perform as well for Atari as expected, and Space Duel actually did better. So, you may think of Asteroids and Asteroids Deluxe as more important, but history tells a different story. Space Duel was the jam in the Asteroids lineage. Of course, Bob is not one to program a home port without adding some extra features, so he added Competition Space Duel and Team Space Duel, where you can two-player the game and either work against each other or work with each other, depending on your preference. Or you can just play the standard solo version. It is still available as of the recording of this review from the AtariAge.com/store for only $30, which I consider to be money well spent, but the ROM is also available to try if you have OpenEMU or RetroArch, so you don't have to take my word for it. You can try it before you buy it, and of course you can watch the video footage of the game that I'm about to share with you here to help you make up your mind too. Now, since I mentioned that this is a successor to Asteroids and Asteroids Deluxe, the gameplay should be apparent to those of you who have played Asteroids, but just in case you are new to the Asteroids franchise, I'll go over it briefly while I'm setting up the controls for this game. You rotate your ship left and right with left and right on the joystick or your D-pad in this case, and up will thrust your ship across the screen, which you need to do to get out of the way of the things that are flying at you from time to time, and you can fire with one button to destroy the asteroids and the oncoming objects, and the other button is a shield. In some versions of Asteroids, you also have things like Hyper Thrust, where you can hit a button and flash from one part of the screen to another to escape imminent danger, but that also has a random chance of putting you in the direct path of danger. And there are other variations to this formula as well, but I think the biggest variations for Space Duel are the multicolored, highly graphical objects, some of which are even rotating as they come at you, so there's a much greater variety of color than you would find in Asteroids, and there is a constant wave of enemies shooting at you, whereas previously in Asteroids there was only occasionally a big or a small UFO that would come your way and try to take you out. So the look of the threats is different and the amount of the threats is different, so it's in some ways more challenging and in some ways more fun, because you can die really quickly in Space Duel, but it's one of those situations where when you get into the zone, get that tunnel vision, start moving out of the way of things before those things even start to head your way, and when you really master the wraparound shots, because your shots will travel off one side of the screen and around the opposite side of the screen, everything just gets into the flow of gaming and you really start to enjoy it. You don't even realize how much you're enjoying it until you're done playing it and you're like, oh man, where'd that last half hour go? Where'd that last hour go? Space Duel is one of those very absorbing kind of games, and thanks to this excellent conversion by Bob DeCrescenzo, it's equally absorbing on Atari 7800. Like I said, you can try the ROM, you don't have to take my word for it. If you go to AtariAge.com, click on don't go to the store section, mind you. Go to the menu on the left-hand side, go down to the rarity guide, pick 7800, use the drop-down menu, select H for Homebrew, click Begin Search. You will find all of the Atari 7800 homebrews, and you will find the ones that have a ROM that you can demo. Download the ROM and you can try Space Duel for yourself. And if you're convinced after you play it in the emulator of your choice, then you can buy the physical version and help support Bob in his homebrew efforts so he can keep making more excellent arcade conversions like this. And of course, I'm sure a portion of it will also support AtariAge.com itself. I don't know the royalty split. It's not my business, but I know that each cart sold, the original programmer author will get a portion of that. I just don't know what their costs are to manufacture them in the first place. And of course, there are options for that as well. You don't just have to get the cart. You could also get a complete boxed edition of Space Duel, so you have something nice to display on your bookshelf, along with playing the actual game. You can look at it and play it if you want to, or you can just play it. I'm not telling you how to collect or how to play. I'm just telling you there are choices and options available to you. Bottom line here is, I do recommend Space Duel. If you want to play it with a friend, it's got that option. If you want to play it by yourself, it's very absorbing in that respect all on its own, and it can get quite devious at times. Like, some of these little colored enemies, you have to shoot them like 4 or 5 times to get them to disappear. They don't just break into smaller chunks like rotating cubes / asteroids do. And there are bonus stages between waves where you can hit all these different targets to pick up extra points, but if you run into them, you'll still die, so don't take it for granted that just because it's a bonus stage that bad things can't happen to you. Gotta keep your head on a swivel in this game. At any time, things could go awry. That's part of what makes it so addictive. It just boils down to, do you like a challenge that you can quickly learn but spend an eternity getting better at? That's what arcade games that are really good are all about. And that's definitely what Space Duel is about. So give yourself a chance to find out if this is the kind of game that you would be really into. Even if you've never played Asteroids or Asteroids Deluxe, even if you've never played any of the conversions of Asteroids, because there have been tons of them over the years. They've been released on every conceivable platform, every conceivable handheld. Asteroids probably has like a miniature keychain game that you can play at this point. Lord knows there's been like little miniature cabinets of asteroids. I've seen them at the stores every time I go, but you never see Space Duel. It seems to have been forgotten, which is really strange since it did better than Asteroids Deluxe in the arcades, but people recognize the brand name Asteroids and they don't realize Space Duel is part of Asteroids. Maybe this review can help change that. And if not, I was still happy to play it for Homebrew Review because it's a fun game, and I'm way behind Bob continuing to make more excellent Atari 7800 arcade adaptations of fun arcade games. I'm Mr. MegaManFan. This has been Homebrew Review. As always, thank you for watching. If you like the video, that helps out. Comments are always good. I love the engagement. Sharing would go a long way. Any social media platform, any YouTube community pages, that would be great as well. And of course, subscribing is always a good way to keep informed when I release new content, which is every day. And with Homebrew Review, it's every Wednesday. So thanks again for watching. Thanks again for your support. And I'll see you all with another video tomorrow and another Homebrew Review next week. Bye for now.